you are only stopping it from coming to you because of your own belief or energy. Things can come so quickly. And this is such a great example where Tara was just so aligned with what she wanted, and she manifested it in months instead of years. And so that's just a powerful testament to the power of manifesting. I know I say powerful a lot, but it's just like, there's no better word I feel to describe it. And so when you want to manifest, never put a timeline on it, because I bet you can do things way faster and quicker than you think you could.
Many people want to navigate life with peace and joy, but struggle to connect to their intuition. They find themselves overwhelmed, burned out, and frustrated. My name is Francesca Phillips, and I'm obsessed with spirituality and psychology and how the two can intersect to help you live a successful and intuitive life. I believe each of us can accomplish amazing things through balance and healthy habits instead of burnout. Consider this your go-to resource for where spiritual wellness and mindful productivity meets practical wisdom. If you're craving positivity and want to know how to find the answers within instead of searching endlessly without, then you're in the right place. Get ready to feel supported and inspired. This is the Good Space Podcast.
You're listening to the Good Space Podcast, episode number 31, Manifestation Stories We Love. Before we dive in, I want to give my warm appreciation to our reviewer of the week, Giselle V. And they say, Francesca is such a pure and positive soul. She has an immense desire to grow and be the best she can be, and it definitely shows. Her podcast is super uplifting and is a great way to start off your day. Her words help you to stay focused on what's important and to set personal and realistic goals in your life. I can't wait to listen to more episodes. Go, Francesca. Giselle V, you are such a ray of sunshine. Thank you for your kind words and listening to the show to start your day off right. Reading your message made me so happy, and there's even a few emojis like a heart and a smiley and some caps, so thank you so much. You inspire me, and I'm so happy you're part of the Good Space community.
If you want to be highlighted in an upcoming episode and help further the mission of the Good Space, make sure to subscribe and give us a review on Apple Podcasts, so I can then highlight your review in an upcoming episode. It only takes a minute. You can pause the episode and come right back. Make sure to screenshot this episode on your phone and tag us on your Instagram story at @FindYourGoodSpace, #TheGoodSpace, to let me know that you're joining in today, as you know that I love to share those screenshots on our stories too.
Manifesting and the stories that go with it fascinate and inspire a lot of people. It's the reason why it's one of the most successful topics on the Good Space's website. Listening to manifesting stories not only teaches us how the concept works in actual life, but inspires us to feel hope for our own lives. I know there have been so many times when a friend shares with me a really amazing story, and it just gets me pumped and renewed with optimism and hope. And it's just, there's so much goodness because you feel the energy that comes from someone else's manifestation, and it fills up your own and aligns you with a higher energy. So a lot of goodness in here. In this episode, I'm sharing manifesting stories that I've experienced, some from my team and from listeners. A few will be read in the author's own voices instead of mine, which will be really fun. I figured hearing it in their own words would be more powerful than just me reading it. So I hope hearing these stories brings you peace and inspiration. And if you do get inspired by any of these, make sure you leave a comment in the show notes at the end. You can click and make a comment and let us know what inspired you. What did you like the most? So we often manifest desires that match the emotional frequency we're plugged into the most. And as we develop a more mature awareness of the skill, we can manifest an entire range of desires, both big and small. In fact, many times we're co-creating with the universe on a smaller scale without even realizing it. For instance, one time I was walking in Central Park with my husband, looking at the birds, and we wondered out loud if we'd ever see a cardinal, since we never had before. And we wondered, maybe they don't come to this area, or they're not in New York City. And then about 5 minutes later, a bright red cardinal zoomed past and landed on a tree near us, which was so fun. It was really cool seeing that immediate effect of something we just thought of, and then it's right in front of us. Another time during my 30th birthday, I pondered about the things that appeal to my authentic creative spirit. I imagined how fun a Polaroid camera would be and all the ways I would use it. So later that evening, I had a birthday dinner at an iconic restaurant in Central Park. And then when the bill was paid, my family and I waited inside the lobby for a taxi. and it was taking a little bit of time. And so when I saw a sign that there was a gift shop, I felt compelled to walk in. As I admired the trinkets, there on perfect display was a Polaroid camera with refills placed neatly beside it. I couldn't help but smile because the universe had listened. Then, this is one of my favorite ones. Many years ago, when I was 19 or 20, I was living in Los Angeles, trying to get my first job in the music industry. I was attending college, getting a degree in psychology, working at a bank, and then booking random singer demo jobs from Craigslist to make connections and money. I essentially was just networking on my time off, whatever that was. So one day I pulled my Ford Escape Hybrid with red leather seats into the cheapo gas station on Cahuenga Boulevard. And when I parked near a pump, I realized how low my bank account was. I can still remember that sinking feeling of like, I don't know how I'm going to make ends meet this week. So I remember thinking, I only need $60 more to make it by. So I grabbed my wallet to walk inside the station when my phone rang. It was a producer who was doing work for Nickelodeon, and he saw my Craigslist response to his ad. And he said he liked my demo and wanted to book me for an hour the next day. And then he said, would $60 work? I smiled and said, yes. This next story is from Ashley in Chicago, who shares 2 different manifesting stories. One where she manifested a house and then a gold jelly pen. The beauty of manifesting is size or shape doesn't really matter. You can attract your greatest desires to you, big or small. She just had a beautiful baby who you may hear at times in the background, but so cute. I hope you enjoy it.
I have 2 manifestation stories to share. So one of the bigger ones that's happened in my life recently was a year ago, my husband and I purchased a house for our family that I had really admired growing up. It's in my hometown, and it was a house that my mom and I often walked by. My mom really admired it too. And it was just so neat to have that happen in sort of this effortless way, the timing of it being on sale and everything just worked out where it came into our life. Not without some hurdles, but just in a way that seemed really aligned with where we were at in our life at the moment. And just as confirmation of that manifestation, my mom was putting out Halloween decorations about 2 months ago before Halloween this year. And she put up this photo of my brother and I in our Halloween costumes from when I was in 4th grade. So this is way back when in 1994. And I was looking at it and I see in the back of the photo, in the background, the house that we're standing in front of is the house that we bought and currently live in. So it was just such a neat reminder because of all the houses we could have posed in front of, it just happened to be this house that we ended up purchasing. So that is a big one. But I think while the big long-term manifestations are wonderful, sometimes the smaller, quicker ones can almost be better reminders of the magical nature of the universe. So one of my favorite small manifestation stories is this time that I manifested a very specific pen. So I'm an avid user of daily planners and exclusively use these gold metallic jelly roll pens to fill out my daily list of tasks and to-dos and everything. And I order them online by the dozen. But about 2 years ago, they went totally out of stock online. I'm not sure why. And I was down to my last pen. So on a total whim, I just had the intention of attracting another metallic gold jelly roll pen so that I would have a backup for when this last one ran out of ink. And a few days later, I received a shipment of my favorite face oil. And in the box was the face oil and then this random metallic gold jelly roll pen. So the person who packaged the face oil must have inadvertently dropped it into the box before sending it. So just of all the possible ways to receive this super specific pen, I never expected that to be the route, but it was such a great reminder that if you set the intention and then just release your attachment to it, things will manifest in the most mysterious and also magical ways.
This next one is from T in Los Angeles. She shares how a gift her father gave her years ago was stolen at one point. So she wanted to see if she could manifest the same object back into her life. These are some of my favorite manifesting stories because you literally can play a game with the universe and say, let's have fun. I wonder if I could manifest a pen or something else. And that actually works. The universe is a fun universe. So this is a really great story of that principle in action. So let's listen to hear what happens.
The manifestation story that I would like to share today is about an experience that I had from attending a 7-day advanced meditation retreat with Dr. Joe Dispenza about a year ago. At the retreat, one of the exercises that Dr. Joe has us do is put together a mind movie. And a mind movie is a video compilation of your goals and dreams, things you would like to achieve, anything from big to small things. And Dr. Joe instructed us to watch this video in a meditative state. It also has music. You choose a song to be the soundtrack to your video. And you watch the video and you bring up feelings of excitement and joy and what it would like to experience all of the things in your mind movie. And then you just forget about it. So I actually did this pretty consistently for about 2 months, watching this mind movie. And one of the things that I put in my mind movie was a picture of an Irish wedding band, a little 14-karat gold Irish wedding band. And the reason why I put that in my mind movie is because my father, who has now passed away, had given me this ring when I was a child. It was my first nice piece of jewelry, and it was very special to me, and it represented a connection that I had with my father. And sadly, that ring was stolen a few years ago. And so I decided, I wonder if I can manifest another Irish wedding band and to represent that connection with my father and just something special and fun. And Dr. Joe always says you got to have fun with it. Make sure you're having fun when you are working on manifesting things. So, like I said, I did it for about 2 months. And then as life gets busy, I didn't continue to watch my mind movie consistently. I really actually forgot about it. About a year goes by and I find myself in England cleaning out a storage unit with my husband. And I see this little plastic box and I open the box as I've been going through things. And what do I see? I see a gold Irish wedding band. And I said, "Where did you get this?" And he said, "Well, I found it a long time ago." And I said, "I manifested this ring." I was so excited because I felt that the ring finally came to me. Of course, I asked him if I could have it, and he said yes. And he was laughing as I was shouting and being so excited that I felt that I manifested my Irish wedding band. So anyway, that was just a fun story about this Irish wedding band. And I keep it every time I see it. It reminds me of how powerful it is to visualize and to be able to call things into your life that are meaningful and that will bring you joy and that can come when you least expect it. So that's my manifestation story.
This next one is from Jo Neal in Chicago, who's our podcast editor for the Good Space podcast. As an Asian woman pursuing media and arts, she often felt out of place in her community and different from everyone around her. Her story is a great example of seeing the vision and doing the work alongside the universe to manifest your dream. Because a lot of times you can't really see the dream in your surroundings or in your life, but the vision and the idea of thinking about it for so long and then doing work to get you towards that vision is another way we can manifest. And so I really love what she shares.
I've always had this mindset that I'm just different from everyone else, my friends, my family, and the community around me. And so I'm used to paving my own path as an Asian woman pursuing the arts. I've never had a mentor or a close teacher I can find comfort and guidance from, while all of my friends are already out here working full-time in a hospital, doing med school, or working for a big tech company. I was busy taking contract gigs, just creating, taking online classes, and just constantly applying for jobs. And so I was moving at a slower pace in my life than a lot of people that I knew. And I accepted that fate because in the end, I know what's best for me and the things that made me fulfilled in life. My goal to become an audio producer was just so clear to me. So in the winter of 2019, I took matters into my own hands and produced a podcast from scratch. I created it entirely on my own. And through that, I learned so much. At that time, I had no job, So I really had nothing to lose, but I also wanted to do my very best. It was not easy to create, nor was it perfect, but I was so proud of what I made. And because of what I made, I have been blessed with so many opportunities that I didn't expect. So fast forward to August of 2020, I was able to do work in podcasting, meet like-minded creators who I can turn to for support, and the opportunity to work with the amazing Francesca Phillips here at the Good Space podcast. So many good things happened in a span of 2 months, and I'd say that was really, really fast. And I can say with confidence to anyone who's listening to this that good things truly happen when you just believe in yourself, when you just let go of all doubt and your crazy imagination and make things actually happen. Or in other words, I like to say just doing the damn thing, but also doing the damn thing with your very best efforts. And I want to emphasize best efforts because this was a long and difficult journey, and it still continues to be. I've come to realize through that project that I can do anything that I want as long as I have the will and the energy to make it happen, and that the future will set its destination for me when I'm ready for it. And it's not going to be easy. All I can do right now is to continue to work hard with my best effort and to focus on my path. I don't believe I have arrived at where I want to be, but I feel that I'm a good place right now.
This next one is from Shannon in Denver, who's also team The Good Space. She helps us stay on schedule and is my right-hand woman. Her story is a great example of seeing the higher good when an event doesn't go the way you plan. Sometimes things don't manifest because our energy isn't matching, but other times there's a higher good and deeper desire that overrides the original desire. So let's hear from Shannon.
So this May, I was supposed to make my move from Virginia to Colorado with my boyfriend. This was a move that had been a dream for 2+ years already. And then, of course, COVID hit and everything shut down. Our work shut down. So I was not going 1,700 miles to Colorado. The furthest I was really going was the 2 miles to my boyfriend's house and then back to my house. I really fell into a pretty deep depression, especially because I'm a huge control freak and nothing was under my control anymore. And I was so angry at the world for throwing another curveball at my dreams. Finally, though, in August, we did pack up our stuff and made the move, the drive to Colorado and into our dream apartment. But over the extra 3 months that we had to spend at home, I spent so much more quality time with my dad, who's been battling Parkinson's for over 6 years, my teenage stepsister, who has the most wonderful teenage attitude, my 16-year-old sister, who wasn't supposed to live past 12. I got to listen to her play trumpet beautifully and loudly until the late hours of the night, but I wouldn't trade it for the world. I had so many amazing real conversations that I had longed to be having for most of my life. For the first time ever, really, I asked for help with my mental health from my dad, which was huge for me. I asked for help quitting smoking, which was something that I was really embarrassed about. I saved 3 times the money for the move than I would have had in May. And because of that, I was able to fully furnish the apartment with things that I actually liked, and I paid for a moving company. Back in July, I rescued a 4-week-old kitten who had been abandoned by his mom, and I nursed him back to health, and now he lives in Colorado with us. So really, as much as a struggle as 2020 was, I feel like the universe blessed me with time. I left home feeling so prepared and, most importantly, so filled with love. I felt like I was going to burst because I was just so overwhelmed and I felt so whole. And I wouldn't have had that feeling if the universe had not challenged me to get through those 3 months. About 2 weeks after arriving in Colorado, I was actually offered a job, and it was even working from home. And I was so excited because it was a job and I had just moved out here and I was starting my life, and anything that I could get was really great. And so then about a little over a week into training for the job, I quit. I was miserable and I was bored and I wasn't being challenged. I wasn't using any of my skills. And I was super nervous about telling my boyfriend about it because he hadn't gotten a job yet. And I had taken this job and it was good money and it was going to help support us for longer than we had saved for. And I told him I quit and he said, great. You have to do what you want to do. And I didn't move out to Colorado to be miserable. I moved out here because it was my dream home. And so I just quit. But after that, I just felt like I was unmotivated to, try again. And I felt like I'd already kind of failed out here. So one day I just kind of sat down and wrote out what my dream job right now would look like. I wanted to keep it really realistic and based on where I am in my career now, instead of, what I see my dream job being in 10 years. I don't have the skills yet to be at that place. So I wanted something that would help me grow my skills that I currently already have. And, I sat back and I actually prayed on it. And I asked the universe to let me find something that would light me up inside and bring that fire back into my body. And then I actually found Francesca's job listing. And after talking with her about the good space for the first time, I knew I had landed exactly where I was supposed to be.
Thank you, Shannon, for sharing those wonderful stories. This next one is from Adrienne in Nashville. And what I really love about her manifesting story is it's a great example of how sometimes when you're looking to manifest a result or a feeling, often it can be where you already are. And that's what's so special about this next story is Adrienne wanted to manifest a certain feeling, a certain, result, and she ended up finding it right where she was. So I really hope you enjoy this.
Hi, my name is Adrienne Heeg, and my favorite manifestation of 2020 was one that I actually set an intention for in 2019. When I set this intention, I was looking for a new place to call home, a new place for a thriving community. I thought that I wanted to move to a smaller town. And what ended up happening was that in January of 2020, my husband and I decided that we would give our current city one more year to see whether or not we wanted to move. And by the end of January, we both knew that we no longer wanted to move and that our current city was going to be our home for the next while. And once the pandemic hit, I was so grateful for that we weren't planning to move during that. But then also it's been so fun to watch our real life community grow this year, even in the midst of social distancing, and how our sense of belonging and connection has grown and the amount of healing that's brought to us as well. We're excited to continue our lives in our current city. At the end of this month of December 2020, I'll be celebrating living here for 15 years, and I feel more rooted and connected to the people here and to myself than I ever have. And maybe that's even what allowed this to come forth, was that I did a lot of work in 2019 to come home to myself and continuing that journey as well. And I think one of the biggest takeaways for me from this manifestation is surrender. How when I was finally able to surrender my attachment to needing this place to be somewhere else than I already was, once I was able to let that go, then where I was at the present moment became the home I was looking for.
Okay, so this next one is from Heather, who is a listener of the show, and she's from Michigan. And she shares a powerful way that manifesting works best for her. She finds visualizing and imagining the future to be super effective in her life, and I'm going to read what she sent to me. Manifesting is a part of my daily life. Anything you would say you practice is an act of manifestation. I practice the piano, and I have since I was 5 years old. I also practice the organ and practice yoga. With each of these practices, I have had many successes and many failures, but each attempt is part of the process. First, I can only hope to play the piece or do the posture. Then little by little, I get better and eventually I've got it. Likewise, I consider relationships a form of manifestation. I have literally willed friendships to happen, first by imagining it, then by making it so. I have a friend whom I've decided would be my friend because we had these two things in common. Our sons were close in age, and we both listened to NPR. That friendship has blossomed, and I'm proud to call her my friend and so pleased when she leans on me as only friends do. I also have a particular child with whom I have never worked harder in my life to cultivate a good relationship. Several years later, and we are the closest of buddies, and I know it was because of the effort I made to be there unconditionally, even when he was so difficult. What I think is so powerful about these examples is that sometimes when you want to manifest something that is ahead of where you're at now, you do have to put the work in to become the person that can receive that manifestation. And I think Heather displayed that so beautifully. And I just really loved that she isn't afraid of the challenge of thinking of a result or an outcome and then being the person that can receive it. So thank you, Heather, for sending that. This next story is from Chantal in New York City. It's a really, really great example of visualizing and reminds me why I love doing vision boards every year. So I'll go ahead and read her story for you guys. Well, I manifested getting the job at the company that I wanted to work at and the location that I wanted to be in. I did this by visualizing myself there over several months. I had a photo at my last desk that I would look at every day where I would visualize myself being there one day. I also happened to have an interview in the MetLife building, which is connected to Grand Central, which is the first time that I happened to stumble across Grand Central Terminal, which is where she works now. I felt really excited to be there, not thinking more than it was stunning and I would like to be in this type of environment. Didn't even think more into it. I later got a job offer to work there. I felt the energy was everything. In reality, I would think about it here and there, but not putting too much emphasis on it. As for the company, I had friends who worked there and they all loved the company culture. Later, I saw that the company was ranked one of the best places to work on LinkedIn. It made me want to work there more, so I kept interviewing there. I went to their corporate office and thought this is where I'd like to work. Every time I manifested something, I felt excited about the possibility. Loved this story because another key point in her example is that she stumbled across Grand Central Terminal, was in awe of the beauty and felt so aligned and good there. And then she didn't force it or give it a second thought. And that's another key thing about manifesting is not forcing, not trying to make things perfect, not trying to make things go your way, but just going along for the ride and feeling the good feelings, planting seeds and letting them go. And then things that are meant to bless you and come back to you blossom in your life in the most effortless way. And this was such a good example. So thank you, Chantal, for sharing that. This last one is from Hera in the Philippines, and she is also on Team The Good Space. She does our social media and is so awesome. We love her. And this next story is actually really cool. It's about her making a change in her working situation and working for herself. And so I will be reading it for her as well. So here we go. 2 years ago, I wrote down my big goals I wanted to achieve in a particular order. The first was to level up my career as a manager. This is my dream even when I was in college. 2, to have a business that can sustain our needs and be able to quit my job soon so I can spend more time with my family. And 3, to achieve my dream income monthly for us to be able to pay our debts, save money, and buy the things that we need and want. I was really amazed that after 2 years and even a pandemic was still happening, I was able to achieve all these goals. This pandemic causes a lot of stress, but I remain calm and positive and still very thankful that I have a job and we are healthy. In March 2020, I was promoted as manager even though we had a freeze of promotions as our CEO still approved it. While having my 9-to-5 job, I worked as a freelance social media manager and was able to achieve my income goal this July 2020. Just this November, I was able to register my freelance business, quit my 9-to-5, and build another project, which is my coaching program. The best part is the business that I have built is a freelance business where I can freely do it at home or even when we plan to travel. This is really amazing, and I really never expected this to happen in a year or even less than a year. Even until now, I still can't believe that all these things are happening to me. So awesome, Hera. Congratulations. Okay, so I'm going to point out some of the manifesting principles within this story. So first of all, when you want to manifest, never put a timeline or a goal or a belief that says, oh, it can only happen in like 10 years. Like I can only be an expert if I spend 10 years on this thing. Or, oh, if I have a business, it'll probably take at least 3 years to do this. No. Like with manifesting, you are only stopping it from coming to you because of your own belief or energy. Things can come so quickly. And this is such a great example where Tara was just so aligned with what she wanted and she manifested it in months instead of years. And so that's just a powerful testament to the power of manifesting. I know I say powerful a lot, but it's just like, there's no better word I feel to describe it. And so when you want to manifest, never put a timeline on it because I bet you can do things way faster and quicker than you think you could. And then another thing is she was very clear on what she wanted and so was able to align her emotion. So that probably helped with it coming to her faster. And then also just the gratitude. Like it seems like she's just very positive. I mean, we know Hera's positive, but like everything in her, what she wrote down is very like open and just, clear. Like it just felt really clear. And so yeah, those are really great qualities to have when you want to manifest. So thank you, Hera. I really hope you enjoyed listening to those manifestation stories, that you were able to get some bits and pieces for yourself and use this principle in your own life. And if there is anything that stood out to you, anything that you're going to change or anything that you're already doing that really confirmed to you that you're on the right path, I would love to hear about it. So make sure you click our show note link. It just goes to our website on a blog post. And then at the bottom, you can comment and let me know, hey, this is what I learned and I'm going to use. This is what I'm already doing and this confirmed for me. Or even if you have a manifestation story, please share it with us. We would love to use it in future episodes or even just in our weekly email. We love to spread that energy and just inspire people. So thank you for listening and I will see you soon. Now it's time for an affirmation. I surrender to and appreciate the unlimited abundance the universe is offering me in this very moment. If you found today's tips inspiring or thought-provoking, share it right now on social media and make sure to tag me at Francesca A. Phillips or at Find Your Good Space, and also weigh in the comment section at findyourgoodspace.com. You can find links in the show notes. And if you have a spiritual or mindfulness problem that you want me to unpack on an upcoming The Good Space episode or an awesome manifesting story you want to share, give my podcast phone line a ring right now at 917-719-0867. Also, don't forget to download my free morning routine guide. It's what helped me reduce my anxiety, increase productivity, and so much more. The link to everything I mentioned is in the show notes. See you soon.